हा ओके लिंक भेटली
येस सर.
ग्रुप वरती वगैरे शेअर कर.
हो सर.
मोठी सर तुमचा मोबाईल देता का मला प्लीज प्लीज सर. Nikhil, can you start? Nikhil, can we start? Nikhil.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Hello.
Yes sir. Or can we
Madam,
wait
can we
for
start?
5 minutes?
Actually, we will start it. The faculty will join as
Okay sir.
and students are there. Screen share कर, first slide share कर. Full screen कर थोड़ा. Faculty for the webinar series session 3 organized by JSPM Imperial College of Engineering and Research. We are conducted the first two webinar series, session 1 and session 2. And today we skills and communication for entrepreneurial development. Today's guest mentor, HOD Management Studies and presently working at JN College, Mumbai. So briefly, why this topic we are taken is the leadership skills that are needed for the entrepreneur. The leadership skills could be a tool for the expansion of and the entrepreneurial vision has a significant impact on the business leaders for the entrepreneurial success. Why business communication important for the entrepreneurs? To run a successful organization, entrepreneurs need with a strong communication. You as an entrepreneur can communicate with and customers more effectively and skillfully. Having a good communication skill is a must for entrepreneurs. Effective communication skills are essential at the time of project explanation, elevator pitch, training, as many other areas where person to face communication with the employees, customers, and clients. Today, our guest, Dr. Rakesh Sharma, I will briefly introduce. Rakesh Sharma is a certified entrepreneurship educator by Stanford Technology Venture Program and NEN, mentor by National Entrepreneurship Network, tools for successful business incubation, business model, and business plan. Nominated as Entrepreneurship Faculty of Decade 2018, award by National Entrepreneurship Network, awarded by Higher Education Forum for Entrepreneurship Teaching, awarded Leadership Award by Mahindra Rice. She is now academic mentor for the entrepreneurship for Board of Institute of Risk Management, UK in India. Dr. Rakesh Sharma is a master trainer, entrepreneurship educator program of Padwani Foundation, and have trained faculty from various institutes in Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Madhya Pradesh. She has nurtured an entrepreneurial ecosystem by guiding and mentoring entrepreneurs and students alike in her capacity as a mentor and advisory board member. She holds a doctorate from University of Pune on venture capital management, Indian experience. Dr. Rakesh Sharma has presented and published research papers and case studies at various national and international. Welcome you, madam.
Thank you,
Now
sir.
I will invite. Now I will invite Dr. Rakesh Sharma, madam, to deliver the session.
Thank you, sir. I would like to share the screen. So yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sanjay sir and JCPM Institute for inviting me and giving me such an interesting topic, which is very required in today's scenario when we talk about entrepreneurial ecosystem and even otherwise also. So if you can see my screen, the first image is more about for a food for thought for all the viewers to see that what is seen up as an iceberg model, which talks about 10% is what we see, and the hidden things which we don't know is 90%. So at times, when we talk about leadership and communication and in entrepreneurial ecosystem, we actually take these things take a back seat, and we always talk about idea and funding and government support and all these things. But the 90% of the things goes with your internal communication, communication with your customers, communication with the people, your leadership approach to execute the idea and come up with innovation. So that's what is an important point which I would like to bring to all the people who are hearing and would see at any point of time. Look at this image. You know what? This is what happens both ways. What happens is we perceive, we at times are very judgmental about people, and we really don't know what they think about us. And the same thing goes the other way around, that we have a different perception about ourselves and we don't know what others think about ourselves. So today's session is more about understanding those hidden factors, understanding the perception, and ensuring the perception is absolutely right. It's nothing which is different from what we actually are, and bringing and reducing this kind of a gap. So, so the most important thing which I would like to bring at this forum right now and in this session is today we all are busy, whether we are working with an organization, whether we are as a faculty involved in various activity. If I'm a startup founder and running a startup, or I have a great idea, we are all busy in restructuring our things, managing day-to-day activities, working on certain projects, involved in a lot of things, and always there are so-called certain deadlines to achieve. So all sort of things which is right there, and we are surrounded by that. So for that, we need something called as a broad range of knowledge to take things ahead. And in this kind of a situation, it's very, very important that we need to have a flexible leadership model. So when I'm saying a flexible leadership model is, it's definitely essential for all entrepreneurs. It is definitely essential to all the faculties who are either leading an entrepreneurial cell or otherwise also. And even irrespective of the fact, even if I'm working in any organization and I'm working with different people and I have been assigned to do certain tasks, it is extremely important that I need to have this kind of a leadership model because it helps in better positioning. We all must have heard of these terms called as autocratic style hai, participative hona chahiye, this kind of style and all these kind of style. The most important model of leadership which can help and take those diverse set of challenges away, help us deal with those diverse set of challenges. The most important style, and which you see is very much spoken about, is shared leadership. So when I talk about shared leadership, I mean, it's not, we talk about charismatic, we talk about so many different terms. Of course, they are all there. But for a startup ecosystem, for people, it's extremely important that there should be a shared leadership. And when we use this term, what do we mean by shared leadership? So it's like, leadership means I'm a leader and I'm going to lead and I have a team of people and I will take all of them along. And that's what we have been told right from the childhood, and we've been grown like that. But in case of a startup where we know the resources are less, people are less, we don't have much of support also, and we are looking forward, and there is a lot of expectations which is right there. So the first thing when we talk about shared leadership, and the first pillar of shared leadership is shared purpose. So when I talk about shared purpose, think about it. I mean, I have a great idea, I'm working on it, and I got some other person who has agreed and who said, okay, fine, I'm going to join your startup, I'm going to work with. Is more important is I have a goal in mind. Do that person also have a similar goal, right? Is he working for me, or is he working for that one purpose we have is to take this startup at the next level? And that is something which is very, very important. So when I'm talking about shared purpose, is that me and my co-founder, and my employees, me and my team, our full set of employees are working towards one common purpose. And it's that purpose for which we are working, not for me or for this organization. So that is something we talk about shared purpose. So what happens is, and that's what is when I'm talking about it, and this is something which I've really seen in a startup. I was mentoring one of the startup where we had a person who was studying in Jai Hind College, but it was very important, like, who should be his co-founder. And you have so many friends out there who would be willing to, who will come with you. That's different. But on the other side, what's more important is, who is that person who believe in what I do? And that is where he found out someone who is from an orphanage, and that person and he together were able to work on that common purpose. And when I'm talking about that common purpose, today, if you search that startup is doing so well, it's called as Green Soul. It's a purpose of refurbishing the used sport shoes into floaters, right? And that is an idea which developed in the college. But the point here is, it is not, so the team was not working to convert used sport shoes to floaters. The team was working towards a common purpose of taking this Green Soul and creating that impact so that we could reduce carbon footprint, we could do a lot of other things. So it's the founder and the team had this kind of a shared purpose, and everyone was motivated. And that is something which is very, very important when we talk about shared leadership. We are trying to remove that conventional kind of a hierarchy, which actually demotivates people at times. The second and the most important point when we talk about leadership skills and a model of shared leadership is a social support. Now, when I talk about social support, I mean, it's so important that even especially in the current situation, we all want kind of support, right? There is something, of course, there's extra support, but something which is very, very important is like, we expect all people around us to recognize our efforts. So it so happens I have done something, my boss or my organization and the leader who I'm reporting to says, okay, fine, you've done a good job, very nice. But आपके जो peers हैं और आपके जो colleagues हैं and maybe other set of people in the same team may not recognize that, right? And they may not be so happy. Why can't we have a system, or why can't we create an ecosystem rather than only talking, where everyone encourages, raise everyone's effort? I mean, and that is extremely important, because it's not the leader, but everyone in the ecosystem, which is very, very important, especially for startups. Because if I again repeat the same point, they have very less resources. They're working in college. There are so many startups who are working in college. There are so many startups who are working after college and have decided not to take up certain jobs. There are various startups who have really going through a tough times, and even those small good things which are happening in the organization should be supported by all the people in the team. So it's not the leader or the founder, it is other employees, other 5, 6, 7, 8 people who are there, other interns who are there. They should recognize others' efforts, that this is you got a marketing deal, it's absolutely fantastic, let's celebrate it. That kind of a social support is very, very important when we talk about this term of shared leadership. The third point which I would like to emphasize in is, and I always say कि जो अच्छा हुआ वो तो हमारी वजह से हुआ है, और जो बुरा हुआ है वो everyone else is responsible, right? So and we always talk about oh, you are accountable for this, you have to do this work, you were given a task, why didn't you do that? I think that is something which really has a very, very significant impact on the people's productivity. So it is always important that, like, in this kind of an organization, we talk about innovation, we talk about creativity, we talk about all these things. So when people feel, and think about it, when people feel that, why should I do something like this? Because if something goes wrong, my boss or the founder or someone else will actually come and say, why did you do that, right? Because I am accountable. What is happening as a result? I am so worried as an intern, as an employee of that startup, to take up any other step, because, and what is happening is, it is actually restricting my creativity, my innovation. I have a great idea, but I don't want to talk about it, because then I am accountable, and something goes wrong, everyone in that ecosystem will come and backfire. It will backfire me, and I'm accountable for that. Can we not change that model where everyone shares victory? You have done something good, everyone is sharing that, and everyone shares the working through challenges also. I mean, there are so much of a challenging times. So it's fine if one person in the team had gone and did not crack that deal, or maybe probably did not get that kind of funding, or something went wrong. Probably, I mean, somewhere the entire team is together taking an accountability and working towards that is something which is very, very important in the startup ecosystem. So that's the third point when we talk about shared leadership, which is extremely important, because it's not, so we are moving away from positional authority. I'm the founder, I will talk about an idea, I am accountable. Of course, you're accountable, but even others are also accountable. And if something goes wrong, let's all be accountable. So if this is the feeling which is created, it will definitely have a better impact and more positive impact for the functioning of these startups and for the entrepreneurs. Because see, I mean, a lot of places it is always that key idea. You should have a great idea. You should have a great idea, but we all know that it's ideas are definitely there, but it's that execution which differentiates. So it's 90% of the startups are successful only, and 90% of the reason is the execution, right? So we all say, oh, this is a great idea. You know what? I also thought about it a year ago. I also thought about it, but that guy did it. That person actually executed it, right? So that is an execution part. So when we know ki hame kaam karna hai, I mean, we all know that it is, at the end of the day, it is someone else who has to, I mean, it's not me as a founder, it's not me or my co-founder, it is a team which is going to take ahead. Let us ensure that we don't have those kind of positional authority. Let us have everyone felt accountable to everyone, right? I'm accountable to my peers also. I'm accountable to all. It's not that only this person. So that is something which is very, very important. The fourth point is very important as a part of culture when we talk about shared leadership skills, and the model which should be there in the startup ecosystem is the trust factor, which is something which is built over a period of time, and that is because I'm working for this company, but I'm working for the person who's running this organization. So that is kind of trust which is very, very important. Because if you actually look at it, they're not paid a higher salary when they join startups. They don't. So that's so when we talk about an entrepreneurial ecosystem, you students go, and I've seen they go and ask people. Like, you know, I remember one of the great incident we had is one of the student who had a great idea, and he said, "Ma'am, I want to work on this this idea, and really, and I've done my research, and I said, okay, fine. Now, how should I be?" It's a very simple thing. Go and communicate and talk to the people, because if you sit down and do interviews, not going to happen just because you're working on that. And he actually went and spoke to people about, this is what my idea is. This is what I would like to work on. Do you want to join me and work with me? Trust me. I mean, that's something which is, and they said, okay, fine. I think what you're saying makes sense. Let us start working together. So that's how we made everyone mutually accountable, develop that kind of trust. So that's quite interesting. So the last part, which is voice, very important. When we talk about voice, everyone says, oh, we have empowered making a start participate. I'm talking about organizations also. I'm talking about, I mean, it's at the end of the day, everyone is important. Think about it. It's very, very important when we look at it. Ask people, do you think, I mean, ask them if they feel that they're heard, right? So participation in decision making or empowering is all good buzzwords, but may not work. We're talking about established organizations or already there, but in case of startups where people are working for you, people are working for that great ecosystem, people are working for people to be a part of the decision-making process, would like to be in the same thing, so they would like to participate. And so it's very, very important when we talk about this skill which an entrepreneur should develop, especially when you're talking about startup ecosystem, that create an environment where people engage in shared leadership by being committed to and feeling responsibility for accomplishing the team's goal, for taking that startup ahead. So if you look at it in the earlier years also, when we talk about revolutions, those things happened, people were not working for each other, but they were working for that common purpose. So that's the most important thing when we talk about shared leadership. Those key points you say, which startup ecosystem, and if the faculty advisors are listening, ideas, the student go ahead. Funding, you can always help them support with the government funding or getting crowdfunding or angel investors or bootstrapping or so many whatever different models. But if they lack these skills, they may have early customers, they may have prototype ready, but from early customers to the next level, from early adopters to early majority to late majority, to capture that bigger market share, they need to develop this skill, which is very important. So that's my most important point is if we talk about this model, it's ownership, creating together. Everyone is looking at a broader picture when they're taking this startup ahead, and trust, as we already spoke, cross-border engagement and reflection and action. It's like, on a continuous basis, it's more of a discussion, and of course, empathizing and understanding the kind of issues and resolving that. So this is something which I would strongly recommend for all these startups and even the faculty advisors to have this kind of training, to this kind of understanding, to develop this kind of skills if you want to not only start but to sustain your startup. So that is one of the most important point. Think about it, and this is a small thing which of course now you can't do it, but that's very important. Just introspect. If you are whatever role you are playing, whether you're working for someone's organization, whether you are running your own organization, you are a faculty, you are a whatever position you are in, identify your style. How are you working in your own ecosystem? How do you work with your peers? Because everyone has, again, think about it, and about this perception which I actually showed you. Yeah. Think about it. You may have, so think about it, what people perceive about you. That's very important. So identify your leadership style and recognize your role as a leader. Are you towards shared leadership? Are you towards not that kind of role? Recognize your role as a leader. And it's very important. And please ensure, don't assume things. We always tell all the startups also, all startups who love their idea and they say, like, this is what I think it's going to work and all that. And the customer research, and at times they have riskiest assumptions. So please understand, as a startup, if you really want to take your startup next level, a lot of research says that startups fail. Market and all, it's fine. It's startups. The major reason for the failure is the entrepreneur themselves. They are responsible for the destruction because they themselves never thought of changing few things. It's their own style, right? Because had this been market, they could have actually done a research. They could have heard people. They could have actually understood what people are saying. They could have taken a feedback. They could have done that reflex action, but nahi kiya. And which is what is very important. So it's a role of all the faculty advisors. It's a role of all the entrepreneurs. If you're talking about capturing a bigger market share, I didn't think about it. What principles do you have? What are those two leadership traits you would like to develop? You would like if you're a faculty, you would like your startups to develop, your students in the college to develop. So that's very important. The next part we always talk about, and the second most important skill is we always say it's listening. There is something, it always is at times, and this happens a lot with entrepreneurs. They just flow with their idea. They're just very possessive about their idea, which is absolutely right. You have to love your idea. You have to be but you should also listen. I've seen over the years that they just want to listen what they feel is right, and they want to assume things, and that is a preconceived notions they have. So I think those are the kind of things which are there, and that is what is very, very important. The reason why I put gender here is, at times when women are starting certain things, and which has been a highly discussed topic also, at times still we find people who sometimes don't take them seriously. And that is something, and which is what I would say, that it's the time for them to take up that kind of a role of communicating. So it should not have any kind of a biases or any kind of a problem when it comes to gender. And language also at times plays a barrier in communication, because that's very, very important. So when we talk about language, I have a very strong opinion. You, even if you don't know certain language, and you think, yeah, but what you know, you communicate in that, because what matters is your presence. What matters is your how confident you are when you're talking about your product, your service, when you're dealing with your customers, how much you are aware about your research, what you have done, irrespective of the fact, because you're not there to talk about how good you are in terms of I know this language, I can speak well. Of course, your body language, gestures, few things play an important role, but your presence is extremely important, right? So ensure that you are somewhere have shown your presence, right? Only, and that's what I again say, that, like, a lot of research says that that around 55% of the things, as per I think UCLA study, 55% of the communication happens through non-verbal ways. So if it's non-verbal, even if I'm not doing a conversation, I have to ensure that my presence is felt. And that's what is very, very important as an entrepreneur, because that goes to the next point. Kafi bar, I mean, I'm sure you must have heard saying, oh, there's a networking event happening, I'm joining this networking event, I have joined this organization, I've joined this forum, and I would like to, and the reason I've joined is networking. Please understand, joining a forum, joining anything is not networking. Attending an event is not networking, but ensuring that your presence is felt is networking. Doing an effective conversation is networking. I am there at an event, there were 500 people, and they were all from different organizations, और वो वहाँ के CEOs थे, और वहाँ से investors आए थे. Fine, absolutely fine. How many people have you done a networking with? How many people you were able to do a conversation with, right? That is very, very important for a startup founder. So even there are 5,000 or 5 lakh people, doesn't matter. Just tell me, were you able to network with 5 people? Were you able to ensure that your presence are felt by those 5 people? Of course, there are certain rules. You just can't be too intense. But what is extremely important is, can you do an effective conversation with them? Were you there? Right? Were you able to communicate? And that is being present. Being present doesn't mean that I attended this event and I was at the networking event. I'm a part of this association. I'm a part of this forum. Tell me, what is the outcome? Tell me how many people you know. Tell me what kind of business matchmaking have you done? And that is something which, if that outcome is not achieved, you may be a part of 100 WhatsApp group, doesn't matter. It's just one more WhatsApp group and one more forward and few more things which are happening. And all of us know today that there are, first thing which happens is a formation of a WhatsApp group. Absolutely fine. You're a part of a WhatsApp group. You know so many people. What is the outcome? What is the benefit? Do everyone in the group, at least 5% of the people know you? And do they know you only by you sending that I am so and so? You have to ensure that your presence is felt. You're able to do a conversation in a positive way. And the last element when I'm talking about communication is power of connecting with others. Today, if you look at it, like, just say, I mean, matrimonial sites chalti hain, and like, okay, fine, you will find a match out here. Today, things work if you know people. So that is business matchmakers. So I see that's something that is very, very power of connecting others. And if you're connected, I have so many startups. I mean, those who are doing currently well, and I'm advising them. Our first orders came only through networking. Because we knew someone, we went for a certain event, we networked with them, and then we could talk about what we have. And as a result, they were able to get those first few orders and first few things and first early customers, right? And bigger orders. So networking is something which is extremely important. And when I'm talking about in the current scenario, as an entrepreneur, as a startup, use these platforms. What is stopping you? I know so many, I mean, there are so many startups and so many ventures who have done well. Use power of others. Again, I repeat, power of connecting others doesn't mean that I'm on LinkedIn. I have sent you a invite and now you are my network. Great. I have 500 plus people, 1,000 plus people. What have you done with that network? Right? That's a question to even to all the faculties also. If you know people, how are you connecting and how are you getting benefit out of it? And what is the benefit? That means an outcome, right? I may have connected with 100 people. Out of that, 2, I think we can work together. We can jointly publish a research paper. We can jointly do a couple of things. We would like to know more about it. When it comes to entrepreneurs, I think I can actually talk to this person who can help me mentoring. I can talk to someone who can actually help me connect with some other funding organization. And that is what is a power of connecting with others. And today, I would always say that, I mean, of course, in the current pandemic situation has actually helped startups to currently connect cross borders, connect across the world. And that's what we could do. Otherwise, we were not able to get people from outside the country. And today, now you can easily connect with people outside the country. You can have all sort of mentoring session. You want to understand something which you don't know here. We may not have those kind of resources. And I would like to know, that is the power of connecting. So everything has to be outcome based. And that is what is communication. Communication doesn't mean that I talk to you and what you think about me and I feel very happy, and that is communication. Communication means I have done an effective conversation which has resulted in an outcome is your communication. And that is very, very important. There are a lot of articles you can find which are there. So these are few communication skills and few tips you can actually see. Of course, a lot of people give tips, but I would like to give tips from an outcome perspective. For the first tip is like, more of listen deeply. It's very, very important. We assume so many things. और ये generally as a human, हमारी habit होती है कि हम जो मानते हैं वही हम उसी पे we want to work towards it. It's very, very important, and at times it's a riskiest assumption. That's what I already said. It's important to just quietly listen to what someone is saying. So don't go by assumptions. Don't try. So it is very, very important to understand what someone is saying, because you have to make someone very, very comfortable कि वो आपको आपके points बता पाए. So if I have a startup, I am starting up and I would like to really know from people. So generally what happens is the friends, people say, oh, it's a great startup, good, lovely idea. And I always tell my students, people appreciate your products and services. People don't buy, right? They will buy only when you give them a value. So if you want to give them a value, you should listen to them. And listen deeply. Listen deeply means listen deeply to the criticisms, listen deeply to the customers, listen deeply to the people in your organization. and then articulate, then work on it, and take things which are key to the organization. The second point when we talk about communication is interpret non-verbal cues. हर चीज बोलकर नहीं होती है. And as I said, 55% of the things are conveyed through non-verbal cues. Interpret that, what the person is trying to say, and which is very, very important. Not that every point of time you expect someone to write a mail, someone to just say, but by looking at a person in a face-to-face communication, interpret non-verbal cues. And very important for these startups, because we always talk about observation. When you're going out with your idea, when you're going out with your prototype, when you're going out with your products, you are talking to the customers, you want to discover customers, but you have to observe. In design thinking, when I teach design thinking as a skill paper, we always talk about, I said, you have to spend time in observation. You have to observe your customers. You have to observe customer's journey. What was his face expression when he took your product? What was his face expression when he saw your product? How he felt? What was his expression when he opened your product? Right? What he said, what was every single thing. So verbally is what he says, but 55% of the non-verbal thing, which we call it as empathy mapping also, is very, very important. Because if you see people say something, people feel something else, people do something and act differently. So if I really want to see what is happening behind the scene, what he's thinking, I need to interpret non-verbal cues. So today, if you see, neurosciences is taking up a big, there's a lot of research which is going on, and a lot of things where you see, because they know that most of the decisions are by a very different perspective of a customer's psychology. So as an entrepreneur, when I'm actually in the early phase of doing my customer discovery, when I'm going with my prototype, when I'm talking to my consumers and customers, then in that case, I need to understand the customer touch points. I need to understand his full journey map, right from the time he's actually placing an order to the time he's using, and then the feedback. So that is very, very important. The third part, which I would say, is managing expectation. So a lot of times this is people say, okay, always under promise, over deliver. Jitna bolo usse upar deliver karo, jitna bolo usse zyada do. Absolutely fine, nothing against the statement, but for my personal advice to the entrepreneur is ensure that you manage the expectations. Jitna expect kiya hai, utna deliver karo, utna communicate karo, utna. So that is something which is the most important thing, is what is expected out of you, you do that. If your product is not doing well, don't talk about 100 things, but actually communicate in a way so that at least the customer's expectation is met. The fourth tip for communication from a entrepreneurial point of view is productive pushback. So it is like, we all know conflicts. We all know there's always a lot of conflicts which happens, and there was some research study by Washington Business Journal which says that around 25 to 40% of the time is spent in resolving conflict, right? So when I'm using this word productive pushback, just take a little seat back and analyze and then revert. So at times it makes sense for an entrepreneur, and it's an important ability of an entrepreneur to communicate under pressure. And in this case, make sure that if there is a conflict, just take a little productive pushback, understand the full scenario, and then go for resolving the conflict, which is very, very important. So productive pushback, it doesn't say, oh my God, I mean, he's not even saying, but the point here is Is it important for me to actually interfere and spend my time? Is it really required? Let me understand the full scenario and I'm going to work on it. That's why the fourth way of communicating in an entrepreneurial ecosystem is productive pushback, because that's an important quality of any entrepreneur, to communicate in under pressure. Because there are a lot of challenges and pressure which happens. We at times say something which we don't want to say, and then it becomes very difficult, and we might not react in the desired way. And you can't do something when you are in the start of your startup. So it is advisable to take a productive pushback and work towards it. Fifth one is be concise. People don't have that kind of time to listen to you. We talk about elevator pitch. 3 लाइन में बता दो क्या बता सकते हो अपने आइडिया के बारे में. 2 lines productive. So more in few words. Keep it simple. Just be specific. And keep it something that the moment you make a statement, the other person would like to know what you want to say. So it should be so engaging. It should be more in few words, so that one line will have a deeper impact, and the person will say, oh, I think that should be remarkable. That 2 lines which you are saying is like about your idea, about your startup, about something, that is something which is remarkable. So at any point of time, whether we talk about networking, whether we talk about connecting with people, be concise. Don't talk about long things, and then people get irritated and they say, oh God, I'm not going to have this conversation. So be concise. The last 2 points is confidently state your value and differentiation. People are buying because you've given them a reason to buy. You have actually told them something which is so distinct, so different. State that, communicate that. If you're saying this is something which tells you that you're different from your competitors, talk about it. Make sure that in 3 lines or 2 lines or whatever little time you have, you are actually communicating something which is a value for someone else, right? So, which is what is so confidently stated about that we are the first one to do something which, unlike our competitors, unlike other companies. Communicate that. Now, this doesn't go only with the entrepreneur. It also goes for as a faculty. As an individual, I would like to talk about, there are 100 things which all of us do in an institution, right? How are you so different from all other faculties? So that's my strong message to all the faculties, because then there's a lot of situation where the faculty says, oh, so talk about what is it something that you're so different from others that you have a distinctive competency, and that is something which you have to state your value, state your differentiating point. Don't go and beg and tell people, look, please see, I'm doing so much work, I'm doing so much work. Talk about it, how you're so different, what kind of value you have brought in, and that's something which is very good. Talk about it on social platforms, write it about your achievement. At some point of time, it will definitely get noticed, but do that. The last point, which is very, very important is, for all of us is, we always practice. क्या बोलना है, कैसे बोलना है, क्या statement होगा, क्या line बोलनी है. All said and done. What to communicate, how to say it. मैं ऐसे बोलूँगा, इसके बाद तुम बोलना. Please think for 30 seconds and understand, why are you communicating? What is the purpose you want to achieve? If the purpose is right there, so understand, know your why. Why am I communicating to this investor? The moment you have that why am I communicating, you will exactly boil down to what you should say, how you should say. So please think about it. Same thing is, what is the purpose? So why am I communicating is very, very important. So know your why is something which plays a significant role in taking you and giving you a full structure about how should we go about it, right? So that's very, very important, creating that kind of a culture, making people comfortable, giving them a purpose, I mean, giving yourself a purpose also, and the people around you. All that boils down to your leadership and communication, which goes hand in hand together when we talk about any such ecosystem. So with this, I would like to end my talk on two important concepts about shared leadership, which is very important for any startup ecosystem, and few tips of knowing your why are you communicating in any specific situation. So thank you very much. In case if anyone would like to reach out to me, you can send me an email and I'll be happy to connect with you. Over the years, I have been very involved with entrepreneurial ecosystem. And I'm so happy that so many institutes are now working towards entrepreneurial ecosystem, which we started long back from the year 2007. And there are various startups which I have seen as an idea which is started up. And whatever I said is more of my personal experience also over the years with various startups where I was involved working and nurturing them. And today they are doing pretty well. So thank you very much, JCPMR Institute, for inviting me, and thank you very much, Sanjay sir. Sir,
Thank you, madam, for giving you valuable guidance and on leadership skills and communications for the students and the faculty. Those are now budding entrepreneurs, and most of the part we have covered is principles of shared leadership, include ownership, co-creation, trust, identify your leadership style, cross-border management, organic renewal, and reflection. Along with this, what we discuss on communications, that should be the outcome based, the skills that are required for the students as well as faculty for their business enterprise to grow.
thank you, sir. Can we log out?
Actually, ma'am, sir, I have some technical issue. Thank you so much for your valuable guidance.
Thank you very much.
So can we conclude this?
Yeah, I think Sanjay sir, you are on mute. If you're speaking something, you're on mute.
Thank you, madam, for giving a valuable guidance. From our institute, I would like to invite Dr. Arish Deshpande, sir, to a few say words.
A very good evening to all of you. I could not join from the beginning to your session. I missed that, but I was listening a lot of part of it. And yes, it was really very informative, very new. Some concepts Dr. Rekhi Madam, Sharma Madam has explained very nicely. Madam, I am very much thankful to you for accepting our invitation. As you are aware that Jaivan Shikshan Prasarak Mandal's Imperial College of Engineering is one of the leading and renowned institute in engineering, management, pharmacy, and almost all spheres of education from KG to PG. And we at our Imperial College of Engineering, student is our focal point of development. And we always strive hard that apart from the theoretical knowledge, the student should gain the practical knowledge. And as I was reading your biography. It was very wonderful that you also has been awarded Leadership Award by Mahendra Rise. So, and the total your biography is full with all technical details and enriched experience. So, definitely the thought that you have expressed today and the information will be useful to our students. And the main topic that you have is the leadership. It is the most important in now today's world. And I must say that very nicely and in most lucid manner, you have explained all the concepts in this. The students will get benefited by it. And it is always our efforts to give students something new, something practical, and something which will solve their problems in their life. Because as Swami Vivekananda has said, the education is only useful if it will able to make you stand on your own feet and it will solve your problems. So this is something leadership taking in that direction of Dr. Swami Vivekananda's thought. And I think it is well beginning. I say that yes, this today's webinar maybe the startup. I also uh, read in you this, you are a mentor for Startup India. That is very good, nice idea. Because the students, every student has at least one idea in their mind, and unless they inculcate it, unless they blossom it, it will not come out of this. We would like to keep a long association with you. It is not only just for the webinar sake, but be guided with our students. And in future also, whenever will come the opportunity. Now in this lockdown period, we have the we can talk only on the webinar thing, but whenever the lockdown will finish, maybe in some earlier days, we can physically meet, you can guide, you can come to our institute. I'm giving you an invitation, and
Thank
please guide to the students in this respect. I do believe that if the students get a good guidance, proper channel, they will come up with the entrepreneurs and a good leader also. So thank you very much for your today's talk. We will keep in contact with you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So I can leave now.
Hi, thank you, madam. Yes, yes. Thank you all students and faculty for your active participations in all three webinar series sessions. Thanks from our mechanical engineering department, mechanical engineering student associations for coordinating and supporting for this webinar series to be conducted effectively. So we received more than 450 registrations, and most of the students and faculty were attended the all three webinar series sessions. The feedback link of webinar series sessions will be shared to all the participants. We are expecting the feedback from the students and faculty to get of all the three webinar series sessions, and the e-certificate will get to the participants, those submit the feedback. Thanks to the all faculty from our institutes and from our department. All the departments, they are supported and make this webinar series successfully. Thanks all the students from MESA and the mechanical department that this webinar series you had made it successfully. Thank you all.
Good. Nice.
Nikhil, end the meeting.
Shiddu sir.
Yes, sir.
Hi,
Yes,
sir.
आपका
Thank you.
आपका opinion.
Sir, it's a very nice webinar. Lot of students are attended in the YouTube also because it's a very
Yes,
convenient
yes.
mode. And for some students, only we forwarded YouTube link. The students are attended in the YouTube only. It's a very good webinar series. Students are got a lot of idea about entrepreneurship, and it is whole and soul your hard work, sir. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir,
much.
sure.
And the team worked a lot, and you proved again. And it is actually at the evening will be the very difficult time because the student will get ended with their data.
Yes,
Seen in the
yes.
YouTube. But that's a very good response from the student, and whole webinar series is excellent, sir. It's a very energetic. It's a 5G webinar series. Thank you so much for giving this.
Thank you, sir.
Sanjay sir, thank you. Sanjay sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for your.
Very nice.
Okay,
Very
thank you,
nice.
madam.
Yeah, sir.
Yes, and
Forum.
thank you. Most of the faculty were joined from various institutes. Some faculty and students joined from Chitkara University, Punjab, and various city institutes faculty, and also from IES Forum, the faculty and students were participated. Thanks for your support. We're looking forward your cooperation for the upcoming initiatives from our institute. Thank you all. Ruby madam, thank you.
Thank you all of you.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
I will join your forum and help you out with those startups legal formalities. Okay.
हाँ,